At that instant, some person tried the latch of the door. I hastened to prevent an intrusion and then immediately returned to my dying antagonist. But what human language can adequately portray that astonishment, that horror which possessed me at the spectacle that presented to me? The brief moment in which I averted my eyes seemed insufficient to produce, apparently, a material change in the arrangements of the upper and farther end of the room. A large mirror. So at first it seemed to me, and in my confusion, now stood where none had been perceptible before. And as I stepped up to it, in extremity of terror, mine own image, but with features all pale and dabbling in blood, advanced to meet me in feeble and tottering gait. As it appeared, the same was not. It was my antagonist. It was Wilson, who then stood before me in the agonies of his dissolution, his masked and clothed leg where he had flung upon the floor. Not a thread in all his raiment, not a line in all the marked and singular lineaments of his own face which was not, even in the most absolute identity, mine own. It was Wilson, and he spoke no one whisper. And I could have fancied that I myself was speaking upon his head, with longer than I knew. Yet thenceforward art thou also dead, dead to the world, to heaven and to me. In me didst thou exist, and my death, see by this image, which is thine own, how utterly thou hast murdered thyself. The necromancy of female gracefulness was always a power which I had found it impossible to resist. But here was grace personified, incarnate, the beau ideal of my wildest and most enthusiastic visions. The figure, almost all of which the construction of the box permitted to be seen, was somewhat above the medium height and nearly approached without positively reaching the majestic. Its perfect fullness and tournure were delicious. The head, of which only the back was visible, rivaled in outline that of the Greek physique, and was rather displayed than concealed by an elegant cap of gaze ariane, which put me in mind of the ventum textilum of Rabelais. The right arm hung over the balustrade of the box and thrilled every nerve of my frame with its exquisite symmetry. Its upper portion was draperied by one of the loose open sleeves now in fashion. This extended but little below the elbow. Beneath it was worn an under one of some frail material, close-fitting and terminated by a cuff of rich lace which fell gracefully over the top of the hand, revealing only the delicate fingers, upon one of which sparkled a diamond ring which I at once saw was of extraordinary value. The admirable roundness of the wrist was well set off by a bracelet which encircled it, and which also was ornamented and clasped by a magnificent aigrette of jewels, telling in words that could not be mistaken at once the wealth and fastidious taste of the wearer.